Subscribe to After the Sirens, leave a comment with your thoughts, and share this documentary with someone who cares about real history, because what you're about to hear was never meant to survive past the war. This channel exists to recover buried knowledge, and today's subject may be one of the most deliberately forgotten agricultural breakthroughs of the 20th century. When World War II cut off global trade routes, fertilizer factories were bombed, and entire nations faced starvation, governments were forced to solve a problem modern agriculture claims only chemicals can fix. They needed food fast, without industrial fertilizer, without fuel, and without imports. What emerged was a soil-building method so effective it routinely doubled and tripled harvests within a single growing season. After the war ended, this method quietly vanished from textbooks, extension services, and policy discussions, replaced by a fertilizer-dependent system that made a handful of corporations unimaginably wealthy. This forgotten technique was not a miracle additive or secret compound. It was, a disciplined soil regeneration strategy built around microbial life, carbon capture, and biological nutrient cycling. During the war, agronomists in Germany, Britain, Japan, and parts of the United States independently reached the same conclusion. Living soil grows food faster than dead soil fed by chemicals. What wartime scientists rediscovered about soil biology? Well, it changed everything. Healthy soil is not dirt. It is, in fact, a living ecosystem composed of bacteria, fungi, protozoa, nematodes, and earthworms, all working in symbiosis with plant roots. World War II research showed that when this system is restored, plants access nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and trace minerals without synthetic inputs. Crops grown in these conditions developed deeper roots, resisted disease, and produced dramatically higher yields, even under rationed water and labor shortages. The core of the method relied on aggressive carbon return to the soil through controlled composting, green manures, and fungal inoculation. Instead of spreading manure thinly or relying on chemical nitrogen, farmers layered organic matter deeply, sometimes burying it in trenches beneath planting rows. This created anaerobic pockets that fed beneficial microbes while preventing nitrogen loss. The technique rebuilt topsoil at a pace modern science still struggles to replicate. British wartime farms, using this system, reported wheat yields up to 140% higher than pre-war averages on the same land. Japanese researchers documented rice paddies producing 2 full harvests per season without added fertilizer by enhancing microbial density. German field trials showed root mass increasing so dramatically that crops could survive bombing damaged irrigation systems. So why did this knowledge disappear? When the war ended, chemical manufacturers that had produced explosives and synthetic nitrates pivoted to agriculture. The same nitrogen used in bombs became fertilizer. Governments, eager to rebuild economies quickly, favored systems that centralized production and created exportable products. Living soil systems required knowledge, patience, and decentralization. Chemical fertilizers required purchase, dependency, and annual consumption. Research funding shifted. Universities stopped studying biological soil systems. Extension services stopped teaching compost trenching, microbial inoculation, and carbon layering. By the 1950s, soil was officially redefined as an inert medium for holding fertilizer. What had once been called soil regeneration was relabeled unscientific, despite decades of wartime data proving otherwise. The consequences of that decision are still unfolding. These days, modern farms now require exponentially more fertilizer to achieve diminishing yields. Soil erosion accelerates and, well, nutrient density in crops declines. Yet the World War II method still works exactly as documented. Applying this knowledge today does not require war-era conditions. It really just requires understanding the steps that made the system succeed. Organic material must be concentrated, not scattered. Compost should be buried or, layered deeply to feed microbes rather than exposed to air where nutrients volatilize. Fungal networks must be encouraged by minimizing tillage and avoiding salt-based fertilizers that kill mycorrhizae. Carbon inputs like leaf straw and wood ash must be balanced to prevent nitrogen lockup. A practical example is trench composting beneath garden beds. You dig a trench about 12 to 18 inches deep, then you fill it with layered kitchen scraps, manure, leaf mold, and just a thin covering of soil. After that, you simply plant directly above it. Within just a few weeks, microbial activity really explodes, roots grow downward into the nutrient zone, and water retention improves dramatically. This was, in fact, standard practice on wartime victory farms. Another example is green manure cycling. So instead of removing crop residue, World War II farmers would plant fast-growing legumes and grasses, then cut and bury them before they flowered. This locked nitrogen into the soil and fed microbial life, producing yield increases without any external inputs. The method is still used quietly by regenerative farmers today, with results that modern agronomy just cannot explain away. This was not forgotten because it failed. It was buried because it worked just a bit too well, without creating a market. The most uncomfortable truth is that global hunger today is not caused by lack of technology. It's actually caused by abandonment of soil knowledge that once fed nations under bombardment. The Second World War soil system proved that, real resilience comes from biology, not chemistry. If this knowledge were, taught again at scale, fertilizer demand would collapse, soil would regenerate, food security would decentralize. That future was in fact decided against 80 years ago. If you value recovered history, suppressed science, and the lessons that still threaten powerful interests, subscribe to After the Sirens, share this documentary, and leave a comment with your perspective. History doesn't disappear by accident. It disappears when it becomes dangerous to remember.